Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101, and today we'll be covering NextDecade liquefied natural gas. This stock has been doing very, very well in the stock market. And let me tell you, we're going to get into the stock review, and we're going to talk about some of the potential of some of you guys of making some really good cash off the profit and the future profits that this stock may bring. But all in all, we're going to have a slapping good time. All right, first and foremost, we're going to go over the last year's profit. We're going to work down the timeline like we usually do. So in the past year, this stock has been up 155%. In the past 3 months, this stock has been up 92%. The past month, 102%. Yes, you're already seeing 100 and 150% of a return. Even in the last month, for every dollar you invest, you get a dollar back. In the past week, we're looking at 67%. So 67% on a dollar of profit of return. And then the pre-market right now is down around 4% if we're rounding up. Now, for you guys who may not be familiar with this particular stock, it says NextDecade is a development company which focuses on liquefied natural gas, export projects, and association pipelines. It develops and manages land-based and floating liquefied natural gas projects in the Gulf Coast, with focus on the Rio Grande LNG. Now, what's important here, family, is to know that this particular company has no infrastructure. They're about to build an infrastructure. They have no pipeline, so to speak, yet. And we're going to cover that a little bit later of the future profits, because right now they have 52 employees. But again, they are working on building the infrastructure, I believe, dealing with the Rio Grande. And we can tell here in the past 52 weeks, the high was $6.61, where the 52-week low was $1.80 or so. Okay, today's high is $6.61 because it's been doing really, really well here lately. It deals with energy and, of course, Texas. You see NextDecade up 14% after agreement with Gongdong Energy. This is very, very important. If I told you guys last week, that I just found out not too long ago, and I want to put this information out, that the Chinese actually owns GM. I didn't know that. It actually owns GM. So essentially, the only American car company is Ford. Now, this stock is an American company, but is in partnership with Gongdong Energy, which is a Chinese company, okay? I just want to bring that to light, okay? Slowly how the Chinese is infiltrating America on the energy level, the car industry, you name it, they're infiltrating, okay? And we are allowing them. It's not like they're taking over, but they're definitely offering a lot of money for the services and some of the company shares that a lot of these companies are actually offering, okay? Let me move right along here. All right. As we can tell here, we see the earnings per share. This company is actually doing very, very well. So, I mean, even though it's a negative 28 cents there, this company could be reinvesting some of the profits again to start building these pipelines, to start building the infrastructure. We have to understand some of the uses that natural gas actually has. We have to understand that natural gas, or liquefied natural gas, and natural gas is used to generate electricity, is used for cooking, fueling homes, barbecuing. It's even used to make plastics and also petrochemicals. So these are a lot of things we have to really keep in mind when we're investing in certain companies like energy, and we're talking about liquid nitrified gas. I remember I gave that video when I broke down electricity, and that electricity is generated by gas, which is a fossil fuel. And we have to remember that, family, that when we think about electricity, you should go to electricity so you're not burning so many carbon films and all this, we want to be net zero and all these other key terms that they're trying to use. But don't forget, in the beginning of it all, to even generate electricity, they're using liquefied gas. They're using natural gas. It's not like we're harnessing electricity anytime there's a thunderstorm and there's lightning. That's not what we're doing, okay? I just want to keep things into perspective. All right, so here we go. We're looking down here, and we're seeing that in the past 5 days, let me get over here. In the past 5 days, this has been up around 67% the past month. These are different projections of the different rates of return from different platforms. So that's why you're seeing a little bit different numbers. But nonetheless, we consistently see these numbers over 50% in profits. Okay. Now, the analyst rating of 4 here on MarketWatch is stating that it's being overbought. Okay. But we still see that this stock is up. Now, a lot of times we don't like to invest in companies that may not have a solid infrastructure or anything tangible. This company only exists. Wait a minute. I think I saw that. I think someone put this in the comment section. I see John Young and Barbara Hill say this company only exists on paper. And I do agree. But again, it's just like it's just like you on a job interview, family. You only exist on paper. They're only going off your resume. They're only going off your cover sheet. They're only going off your executive bio. So essentially, they are hiring you based upon your potential. So people are investing based upon the business, the potential, the infrastructure, partnerships, etc., which we will get into. Okay. So let me move along here. Now, I'm on the wrong screen. Give me a second. As we're looking into Yahoo Finance, we see that the stock at the current time was $6.36, but right now in the pre-market is around $6.12. We see the short-term and long-term and mid-term all going up. But again, Yahoo Finance has the stock as overvalued. Again, this stock only exists on paper, but that doesn't mean that the stock won't be profitable. It's already profitable. So people who invest in the stocks early on have done very, very well, okay? And we're going to get into some details why I believe this stock will do well if it's actually no, I'm not going to say that. It says here that NextDecade's deal with the Chinese company moves Brownsville LNG project closer to getting green light, okay? NextDecade expects to make a final investment decision on FID or its Rio Grande LNG project, first 2 trains sometime in the second half of 2022. Okay, so all these things we have to make sure that we're keeping our eye on, because again, you're essentially investing in the potential of this company actually building an infrastructure. Is this risky? Of course it's risky, but as you can tell, I had the green light on, and I believe if you invest, okay, my perspective, my conjecture is that you can make some really good profits because people have already made profits. But I will tell you, be aware of the old pump and dump. But this stock has an SEC filing. So that's why I know it's a legitimate company as far as paper concerned. And before a lot of people make businesses, guess what they do? They register their business with the state. They get the EIN number from the federal government, IRS, etc. You build the business on paper, and then you start to build the infrastructure, okay? It's kind of like before you start to build a pool in your backyard, get a patio in your backyard. Guess what you need from your HOA or even your city? You need permits. It needs to be legalized by paper first. Then you start to build. So that's why I'm not too much worried about this stock that we're currently talking about here, family. All right. Moving right along. Here's just a quick view of how the company website is. This is NextDecade. Now we're going to talk about the agreement with this Chinese company, Guangdong. I'll probably pronounce it incorrectly, but nonetheless, that's the way I'm pronouncing it. The HOA provides the Guangdong Energy will purchase up to 1.5 million tons per annum of LEG index to Henry Hub, okay? So they already have orders in the pipeline once this thing gets going with this particular company. So these are all great signs. And last but not least, the company lets you know, situated on a 940-acre site on the banks of uncongested Deepwater Channel, Rio Grande LNG is the largest privately funded infrastructure project in the state of Texas. And we understand that the state of Texas is the energy capital of America, next to the reserves in Alaska. But we understand this. Also, at full scale, Rio Grande LNG would be capable of producing 27 million metric tons of clean LNG for export to markets around the world. Okay. And that's why the Chinese wanted a partnership with this. Okay. There's a lot of places that America can't reach. Maybe it's supply lines, maybe it's embargoes, maybe it's sanctions. It could be all sorts of other things. But the Chinese can baton the rest of the journey, right? Essentially, oh, well, we can't do this, but we can give you the energy for you guys to export and deliver to all these other countries that may not want to do business with America. Because believe me, ladies and gentlemen, there are some countries out there, not many, who don't want to do business with America, but they'll do business with China, okay? I'm just letting it alone. I'm just going to read this last paragraph here. It says Rio Grande LNG is the first and only U.S. LNG project offering CO2 emissions reductions of more than 90% via carbon capture and storage, capturing and permanently storing more than 5 million metric tons of CO2 per year, equivalent to removing more than 1 million vehicles from the road annually. Okay, so we're talking about a green, clean energy company by the way of liquefied natural gas. Do I believe that you should invest? Okay, my opinion, and take it with a grain of salt, because any information you get from anyone, doesn't matter what channel, doesn't matter what platform, they can give you the financials, they can give you the forecast, they can give you the projections, they can give you the analysis. At the end of the day, no one can promise you returns. Okay, there's no such thing in the stock market when you're investing as 100% guarantee of investment. There are some vehicles out there that has a track record of giving you 100% returns, but they can't guarantee that for the entire lifetime. They can only give you the history. So again, understand when you invest, it's an investment, not a gamble, because it's based on analytics and information and news and what people are actually doing versus based on luck. But with that being said, you can still lose money. Blame yourself. And when you get money, blame me. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. And at the end of the day, family, don't let Will Smith slap you. I'm out.